Sexual futurists are people who use reason and knowledge to logically predict what is going to be the consequence of a failure to address problems rationally and appropriately, because we're using reason and knowledge to illuminate human sexuality. Long before our children ever become teenagers, we should have begun the process of giving them permission to ask questions, to have thoughts, and to have conversations about human sexuality. This starts when children are so young. They're looking and noticing that mommy and daddy are affectionate in a way that, at least we hope, is different from the affection that mommy and daddy share with little brother and little sister. So even from a young age, children are already sexual beings. And until we recognize that and we begin those conversations at a really young age, we're never going to be able to comfortably introduce it in their teen years. One of the best techniques I know for any family to begin discussing sexual issues is for the family to sit down at a typical meal like a breakfast, perhaps once a week on a Saturday or some other weekend day, and to be able to open up the family newspaper, for the father to find one story and to read that story aloud. And it could be a story about sexual criminality. It could be a story about religious figures and their stand on a sexual issue. It could be a story on any dimension of human sexuality, including the arts, religion, politics, law, history. It could be anything. That simple act of reading the story, closing the paper, and saying, gee, what do you think of that? Beginning that conversation with his wife at first, and then hopefully later with the children chiming in, is the safest way to introduce the notion that sex is something that we can talk about without being weird or violating rules or breaking a law or doing anything wrong. And after 1,000 of those conversations, our children will grow up to be very comfortable exploring human sexuality in an intelligent manner that's intentional and that takes them to the places they need to be to make the right decisions.